So Xbox did a thing.
World premiere.
I saw this a couple of days ago, and of course they had their showcase, so now we've all seen it. They have gone down the color coding route of a brand new Series X all digital that is robot white, the exact same color as the Series S, and there is going to be a special edition Series X with a 2TB hard drive in a colorway that they are calling Galaxy Black. It's basically black with like speckles across it, which to be fair, I think is really nice. Now, let's talk about this from a physical and digital perspective. So, they are still going to focus and carry physical games. They are still bringing out consoles with physical disc drives. As well as this refresh, which is of course all digital, much like the 1S that they brought out many moons ago that didn't actually do very well. And the reason for that is because the majority of people were still buying physical games, but now that it's kind of flipped on its head a little bit, I expect that Series X all digital to do very well indeed. But it's really positive news, and not just this. I mean, the whole showcase was an absolute masterclass in how you attract new players, keep your existing players happy, and people who have never touched an Xbox before are still going to be able to enjoy the majority of the content that Microsoft have pumped out here. Absolutely sensational presentation. It was just game. So hats off to them for that. But the massively reassuring thing from a collector's standpoint is that special edition console that they've put out. I was fully expecting them to come out with a cylinder bin looking thing, all digital. They were not really going to talk about discs at all, and that was going to be the direction that they move in. And then of course that the current Series X was going to go down in price, the one with the disc drive, and then eventually it would go up in price because there was none available. People would buy them all up, those who wanted disc drives, and then they would become rarer and rarer. But that doesn't look like it's going to happen because they've just said, look, we've got a new one with a disc drive. We're going to push this as well. I would imagine it's got some upgraded hardware inside. Not that it's going to make the games look or indeed run any better necessarily. I would imagine it's more sort of a cooling thing, especially with the all digital, because there's no disc drive in the bottom of this thing now. There's a lot of room in there for cooling, so I would imagine that the all digital console, the Series X that is, will run very well and a lot cooler than that of the disc drive. Price wise, I think they have put out some prices, but I'm pretty sure they're US prices, although the majority of the time you just swap the dollar sign for the pound sign, which I think is a bit unfair given that the pound is stronger, if you will, than the dollar, but it is what it is. I don't think there's an awful lot of a discount between the physical and the digital console, which is a little bit strange to me, but still. With that showcase they've put out and how strong the lineup looks on the Xbox going forward, that Series X all digital is going to fly off the shelves. I'm actually a little bit surprised that they're still kind of pushing this Series S, especially with the amount of, not backlash necessarily, with the amount of articles I see and YouTubers and gaming enthusiasts alike who just claim that the Series S is the big bottleneck in the industry right now. It is a bit of a weird one that they are going to continue to push the Series S. Why not just say, hey look, we have a Series X all digital, that's for the all digital crew, and then if you want a disc drive, here it is over here. Curious to me though that the one with the disc drive is the one with the bigger hard drive. I know you can play digital games on it, I know you can still use it for Game Pass and actually never touch the disc drive in the first place, but surely it would have made more sense to have a bigger hard drive in the all digital console that you need to download your games on. Yes, you can use cloud, but in my experience, from the very limited experience that I do have, that is a little bit hit and miss sometimes, and I would much rather download the game than play via cloud. So why not have a 2TB or indeed a 4TB hard drive in the Series X digital and keep the 1 or give us a 2 in the physical Series X? I'm not really sure the logic behind that. But to be fair, and a lot of people do complain about hard drive space an awful lot of the time, but if you really think about it, most people's internet these days is that good that it doesn't take that long to download a game. Okay, there probably are a few of you watching who are going to say your internet is absolutely terrible and takes ages to download a game. I would imagine you're in the minority, maybe. That'll be an interesting thing to read. Everyone put your current internet speeds in the comment section. I'm not boasting or bragging or anything here, but I have very good internet where I live. I do pay a little bit more for it in fairness, although I have downgraded it because I just didn't need it that fast. It was a gig, didn't need it that fast at all. I was paying over the odds for it just because I wanted it. I've downgraded to 500 meg, which is still insanely fast, and it's more than what I need it for. But it means that I can download games pretty damn quick. It takes minutes to download a full game. Although, having said that, I mean, looked at these file size, the potential file size for Black Ops 6, who knows? That's another thing worth mentioning though. The amount of games coming day one to Xbox Game Pass is outrageous. On top of that though, are Xbox going down the good guy route? So Phil Spencer at the very beginning of the showcase said, look, for the first time in however long, you're going to get Black Ops, or Call of Duty anyway, on an Xbox console the same day as the PlayStation, with all the same content as the PlayStation gets. He didn't actually use the term PlayStation, but as everyone else, he says. And he just went about the way of saying, look, we want everyone to experience everything at the same time. So you can now play it here, you can play it elsewhere. And he was very open about that. You can play it anywhere you want, but anywhere you do play it, you'll be playing the same game with all the same content available as everyone else.
It's been 10 years since Call of Duty has been in our show. It's been even longer since all Call of Duty players got the same game at the same time.
And that is kind of the route that they've gone down up until this point, you know, taking their IPs and putting them on Nintendo platforms, putting them on Sony consoles. Well, it is a very interesting ploy from Microsoft to say, look, we don't care where you play the games, we just want you to play them. And that, in my opinion, is turning people around to Microsoft. They used to be hated by everyone, from the colour, the big neon green that you see everywhere, which is not to everyone's taste. The whole trying to force people into digital back in the Xbox One days, amongst a whole host of other issues. But now it looks like, hey, we've got hundreds of games for you. Here's an hour and 17-minute showcase of just game. You've now got all these options of consoles, a cheaper option of the Series X, you've got an all-digital Series X, you can have a disc drive in your Series X, the games are cheap enough anyway. And if you don't want to play it on our console, that's absolutely fine. We support PC and you can have Game Pass on there as well. Very, very affordable. And even if you don't want that and you want to go play PlayStation, that's fine, so long as you're playing the game. I mean, they are being super nice about this. They are being the good guys, which is a bit strange to see, if I'm honest, but I'm really happy about it because I've always really been an Xbox sort of fanboy. Have said that, haven't actually owned one for a long time, so I can't call myself an Xbox fanboy by any stretch. I've had PlayStations a lot longer than I've had Xboxes. I've had every single PlayStation and I haven't had every single Xbox, so you could argue that I'm more of a Sony fanboy, but either way, I just love to see the gaming industry grow, and I love all these new games that are coming out. The fact that they've announced a new Fable has got me really excited. There's Doom in there as well. I'm going to make another video about those games and what I'm looking forward to. But for now anyway, I would say that this is, on the whole, pretty positive from Microsoft. Very happy to see it. What does it mean for my personal series, where I was looking to pick up a Series X a little bit discounted? I still think that will happen. Still think the price of the Series X will go down a little bit, second hand at least, and I'll be able to pick one up then. But to be fair, I'm kind of leaning towards an all digital future in terms of Xbox, because the options available for the price point is just unbeatable. Let me know what you think of all the announcements from that showcase in the comments. If you want to check out another video from me, you can click here, and until the next time, goodbye.